I'm Dr. Casey Wright at the University of Texas College of Pharmacy. I think my laboratory is embarking on very interesting work, very important work, especially to today's society with the increases in obesity and inflammation. And inflammation is such an important component of a lot of cancers. NF-kappa B is recognized as the master regulator of inflammation. And one project that we're really studying is how is NF-kappa B controlled in an inflammatory model. And so we're very interested in understanding on a deeper level of how does ARNT regulate NF-kappa B. To understand that, we've turned to this inflammation model. And we inject this toxicant into very young male mice. This activates NF-kappa B, and that drives proliferation of these cells. And so you get cancer growth because you have this increase in inflammation. And the hypothesis is that ARNT will promote more NF-kappa B signaling and a higher propensity of cancer development. And so the endpoint of that experiment will be to compare control mice, and then you have your experimental, which has overexpression of ARNT. And so the idea is to euthanize the mice, dissect out the livers. What I expect to find is that the ARNT transgenics will have more tumors in the liver than the controls. Since NF-kappa B is such a central player in this inflammation, it's very important, vital, I would say, that we really understand on a molecular level, biochemical level, of how it's regulated. And in so doing, we will be able to find targets that we can design drugs around. We think that there's drugs out there that are in clinical trials that we're testing, and we have some evidence that if you add this drug to the cells, they quit growing because of this pathway that we've identified. There's just so much potential in understanding how it's regulated and how it binds to DNA and what regulates that binding, and on and on and on. The long-term goal of our laboratory is to really try to identify novel regulators of NF-kappa B signaling. A lot has been done, but there's quite a bit more to try to understand before we really appreciate the magnitude of NF-kappa B and how it controls the growth and survival of these cells. I'm Dr. Casey Wright at the University of Texas College of Pharmacy, and what starts here changes the world.